What is your most terrifying we need to leave now random rush of fear you felt? My car was stolen the very night I moved into my new house in a very good neighborhood. The neighbors had warned us that the neighborhood was being targeted at the time. They mentioned a woman around the corner that opened the door for knockers in the middle of the night and they attacked her and robbed her and almost killed her. We had reported the car stolen and did the police reports when it happened. Well, 2 nights later in the middle of the night I hear a knock on the door and they said open up, it's the police. Well, since I had heard the story about the other lady, I was suspicious and did not answer. I grabbed my kids and put them in my daughter's room because it had access to the roof from the window. I called the police to say that 2 men claiming to be police are pounding on my door. They said there was no police in the area and they are sending a car. Turns out, these same guys stole the car and came back for seconds. I did get my car back because they brought it with. A couple years ago I snuck into an abandoned orphanage with a couple buddies. Dumb I know, but drunk college kids find dumb. Step down through a basement window onto a barrel. Easy. We get down and walk through a hallway when we notice a drop of blood by our feet. After close examination of ourselves we notice none of us are bleeding. We shined our flashlight further ahead and notice the blood continues into the darkness. Nope the fuck out as fast as possible. Trespassing with someone / something else injured in the basement of this building? No thanks. I was at a party my freshman year of college and some seedy people were present. The night was getting very tense, but no fights or anything happened. As the night went on it became very clear to me something was going to happen. I told my friend it was time to leave. No more than 5 minutes after we left someone was stabbed and the stabber was shot. My dad was into heavy drugs, heroin, mescaline, coke, and would binge drink. During these times, he would beat my mom senseless and threaten our lives if we cried or tried to get help. My sister and I witnessed this stuff at least twice a year until we were around 13. One night, I woke up to my dad screaming and my sister crying. He had my mom's head under his foot with a shotgun in her mouth. I was paralyzed and thought for sure I was about to see my mom die. He yelled for us to run into the woods behind our house because after he killed my mom, he was going to come out and hunt us next. I grabbed my sister and bolted out the back door of our single wide and ran to the neighbor's house. They hid us there for 3 days and never called the police. Nobody ever called the police. And my mom stayed with him until I was 18. I still have nightmares and can smell the old blood. September 19th, 1985 a huge earthquake hit Mexico City. Hundreds of buildings collapsed and at least 10,000 people died. Every year, the earthquake is commemorated. In 2017, 2 hours after the commemoration, I was outside a classroom with some friends, waiting for our teacher. I saw one of my friends was uneasy, and she asked me to go to a small store outside the building with her. I could notice she didn't actually wanted to buy anything, she just wanted to get out of the building. We were just beginning to walk to the stairs when the earthquake sirens began to sound, and the building began to move. The building we were at suffered little damage, just a couple of broken windows, but many other buildings in other parts of the city collapsed, and more than 200 people died. Taking pictures of a family who wanted a full photo shoot in a field. Hear something, look behind me, and a huge bull is pawing the ground, and when I make eye contact, it starts running towards us. I see that there is a fence between us, so I'm not as fast as I could be shooing the family to the car until the bull gets to the fence and immediately turns away from us to run along it. I then notice that the fence ends halfway up the field and that bull is mad and running pretty fast. The time I felt a small shark delicately scrape my foot with its teeth in its effort to curiously figure out what I was. Like it literally felt like it gently took my heel into its mouth, and I felt the barest brush of teeth all around my heel. It didn't break the skin. I didn't realize it was a shark, murky water, until I reflexively kicked and felt its sharky skin against the bottom of my foot. It felt like a small shark, so a juvenile of some species or maybe an adult Atlantic sharpnose, not sure. My mom told me my eyes got huge, and I looked at her like I wanted to nope right out of the ocean that second. I didn't go back in the water. was once at summer camp and was walking to the beach. It's like a 5-minute walk from the cabins we were staying in, and the path to get there is made of sand and surrounded by trees. We were supposed to go in partners, but mine dipped anyways. I was walking for probably about 2 minutes and I hear leaves crunching in the trees beside me. So I look over, and what I see is none other than a brown bear cub lugging a tree. I think that everyone knows that where there's a cub, there's a mama. This bear starts making bear noises. I just about shat my pants and bolted out to there. In high school, a friend and I jogged down into a deep wooded valley at night. We saw some guys from school in a car at the bottom of the valley. Legend has it that this place has evil imps, so we thought it would be fun to scare them. We both started making these crazy imp screams and noises as loud as we could. They freaked and got in their car, taking off as fast as they could, leaving us in the pitch dark. Behind us in the forest valley, many animals or creatures started making the exact same screams we made as imps. We both looked at each other and mutually freaked the fuck out. Ran all the way back to town, which was about 3 miles uphill in the dark. Creepy as fuck. Was riding my bike home from a friend's house when I was a young teen, over 20 years ago. We had both lost track of time, so it was dusk when I left. Lived about a mile away. Was traveling down one of the last roads to get home when I had this weird feeling, so I turned around to look back down the road. Saw headlights pass, stop, back up and turn on the road I was on. It was a pretty long road without many houses and no street lights or anything. As soon as they turned, I bolted into the woods and hid pretty far in. The car slowly drove by and kept going. No idea what they were doing, but I didn't want anything to do with it. Thanks for watching the Reddit guy. Have a good day.